A little bit of an issue there to connect, but we seem to be fine now.
Seem to be fine now. Okay, let's make sure the live stream starts and everything. Blah, 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 blah. That is going. This. Refresh. Not yet. Not yet. Give it a few. That's interesting. I got an email that we're live streaming. The other place hasn't found it yet. Boo, 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 boo. We'll give it one more minute, then I won't worry about it. Thirty more seconds.
That's a lot more than 3.
I said 30. 30 more
30.
seconds.
I heard 3.
30. 30. It's 10 now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm just not going to worry about it. Like before, I've done this manually, but it usually eventually figures it out after a few minutes. We'll see. It doesn't matter, really. Nobody watches anyway. Okay. Of course, now there's one concurrent viewer. I presume it's either you or Alex.
It's not me.
Oh. Is it you, Alex? Alex says it's not him. Hello to whoever's watching them. Okay, we'll get started. Are we ready to get started, Yvonne?
Sure.
Here we go. Welcome to Curmudgeon's Corner for Friday, October 10th, 2025. It's just after 2 UTC as we're starting to record. I'm Sam Enter and Yvonne Boas here. Hello, Yvonne.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Indeed.
Hi.
Hello. And
Sam,
hi.
let me tell you something.
Oh, no. We're
there have been times you've been loud wrong.
Oh,
but I just went over the recording of how loud wrong you were.
Oh wait,
wait.
Did you find the time?
Yes, I have it. I can play it. Yes, and I can play just how absolutely, ridiculously loud wrong you were, and not just wait. But let me before you say it, and not just that, but how absolutely right I was. And I told you were full of shit before I said it, and you're talking out of your ass, and told you flat out exactly what actually played out, and how you told me, oh, no, you're wrong, it's going to be that way, the tech companies know what they're doing, blah, 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 and Sam, damn it, holy shit, were you loud wrong.
Let's give the context here. So on October 9th, 2015, so 10 years and a day ago,
yes,
we recorded an episode. It was episode 435 of this podcast, which I titled check us in 2025.
Yes.
Yvonne and I got into a discussion on self-driving cars. And I gave a very optimistic assessment. Basically, the bottom line being, well, I was going to try to pull this audio, but I didn't have time. But Yvonne has it.
I have it.
Yvonne's going to play it, and then I will edit in a higher quality version of it when we're done. But Yvonne, why don't you go ahead and play the appropriate clip from this show from 10 years and a day ago, and then we can discuss just how wrong I was.
Now, hold on one second.
I will say that I realized fully, and we even discussed on the show, that I was going to be wrong about this like 5 years ago. Like, it did not take the whole 10 years because we remembered. Like, Yvonne put a reminder on his phone.
On our calendar. I sent you an invite. Was it still on your calendar?
Let's see if it was still on
because I saw my calendar invite. If you see the picture, it said that I sent you an invite for it.
My calendar. I never open my Apple Calendar anymore, but it's right there.
So it is right there. Okay, so yes, I literally did set a reminder 10 years in the future. And the funniest thing about this is that all of a sudden I see this thing on the calendar and I'm like, what the hell is my wife doing? What is this self-driving car thing? What are you talking about? and I'm like, honey, I'm like, nah, it's not mine. And then I read it, and then I started remembering, and I said to Sam, I'm like, wait, I'm guessing this is a prediction we made 10 years ago.
Yes.
And it was set as a reminder. It worked!
Yes. Well, I guess technically you set it as an appointment on your calendar, not a reminder.
Yes. Yes, I set it as an appointment on the calendar, yes.
Very good.
And lo and behold, it worked. We remembered.
And tell me and the audience what the timestamp is in that show from 10 years ago.
I believe it's somewhere. It's around an hour 35-minute mark. I got to around the time of the prediction, which is somewhere around an hour 39 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay.
I will. Here, hold on. I'm trying to scroll through this thing. Oh, come on. Here we go. 139. Okay, so here, let me see. Let's see if the audio will play here that we can listen. Here we go. Let's see. Hold on. Nah, but it's only in my speakers. Hold on. Wait, let me see if I can change the audio output for a second so people can listen.
And
just give me 1 second.
And yes, I will fix it so everybody can hear on the actual recording of the show.
All right, here we go. Mac Studio speakers. Let's see if this works.
We're only gonna get to the next. You say you want to sit there and not worry about it. I'm telling you,
the Google cars are already 100% autonomous.
They're 100% autonomous, and they still say, well, you still may have to watch because there may be situations where you may have to take over.
No, they are only doing that for legal reasons right now. They're not because they have to, and they're still working on it. And with 5 years, this is what I'm saying. The traditional car companies are coming at it from the approach you're saying. Google and the tech companies are coming from it from the opposite approach. They're saying
right now that Google's over-promising what they can deliver on that.
Maybe
this is what I'm telling you right now. Google's over-promising what they can deliver on that right now. They're talking out of their ass.
I think what's going to happen. My prediction.
I really think that they're way over-promising.
My prediction is the companies that are coming at it from the Google approach, and I don't know if it's going to be Google or if it's going to be somebody else, but the companies that are coming at it from the approach of we are going to build something that does not require a driver. Period. Stop. End of story. That's what they're trying to do. They don't succeed until they achieve that. Will at some point lap the companies who are coming at it from the point of view of the other direction.
Now that I will. What I'm going to tell you right now is that those guys that are promising that right now, they are way overestimating how quickly they can get that to work the way that they believe it is going to work. They're not going to get there. That's what I think. I think they're way over-promising.
I think within 10 years they will be there.
I think it's going to take longer than 10 years. It's going to take longer than 10 years. I'm going to tell you the main reason why that is. Because there's just going to be millions of cars around those cars that are not that way.
It'll take more than 10 years to get mass adoption, but it'll be less than 10 years to
let me tell you something. Listen, even in aircraft that are 10 times smarter than any of the cars that we have out there right now, okay, it took for the technology to have the infrastructure, to have the airplanes be able to talk to each other, to everything, in order to be able to fly autonomous. And what you're telling me is that, oh no, we're going to build a car right now that, you know what, it's not going to rely on that. It's never going to get an accident and nothing's going to happen, right?
No,
okay.
Not just less than human accidents. The Google cars already have a safety record better than human drivers.
Listen, but I'm telling you right now, but the problem is that you're not going to get away from the fact that you still have that many factors around. I don't know. I listen, like I said, it's not, but you see, my point is that there are a lot of situations, and we're not just talking about driving in the United States, we're talking about being able to drive anywhere in the world, okay? Not just here. Off-road, on-road, wherever the hell, whatever.
The first ones of these will be geographically restricted. The first ones of these you buy will...
Well, my point is that you're not going to get to something that can go anywhere. It's still going to require some level of human intervention.
No,
it's going to take... Listen, I'm telling you, look, I will state my ground. Even 10 years from now, the car may be 10 times smarter and be able to avoid making 90% of the mistakes you can do right now. But fully autonomous, fully 100%, not 10.
I tell you this.
10, yes.
By 2025, it may still be very expensive. It may be very limited in terms of how many people have them. But by 2025, you will be able to buy a car that you can get in, tell it your destination, and go to sleep.
Okay. Sam.
Was that the end?
No, I got it because it would drag on forever. You can add later, but that's basically the main point. Sam.
Yes.
You're loud wrong, and I was loud right.
I was definitely wrong. I was thinking for a little bit. Maybe I could finesse it. Like, do Waymos count? Because you can legally go to sleep in a Waymo, but you
remember we're talking about
Waymo.
You can't just buy a Waymo. Not just that; it's geographically fenced, which is the one thing we're talking about.
I said they might be geographically fenced or otherwise limited. The key part is you can't just buy.
But you can't just buy a Waymo. Yeah,
right.
You can't. You were expecting like some very rich people to be able to have one to work, and you just can't just buy a Waymo. No,
you can't just buy a Waymo, and they are very limited. I mean, again, I allowed the fact they might be very limited. But I figured you'd be able to buy one. But the only people who have full autonomous, and even they cheat because they have like remote safety drivers that can take over. So they cheat as well.
Yes.
And you can't buy those. You
can't buy them.
You can't buy those. The autonomous taxis are growing while they do cheat. But
yes. Tesla rolled out some, and they had like people sitting in the fucking car watching them.
Well, right, all of the they had people sitting in the car, but even the ones that are theoretically there's no where
there's somebody somewhere
somebody remote, even if
so
it's
what?
Not somebody
Exactly.
Yes. And if I remember right, if you played that further, we talked a little bit about I made the point about sleeping in the car.
Yes.
And now, there are definitely people who actually do sleep in the car while they use their Tesla self-driving. But in our discussion, I specified that it would be legal to do so. It is definitely not legal.
Well, the one thing that we're talking about was them being safer right now than human drivers. And the reality is that right now, I mean, look, insurance data show that Tesla drivers have some of the highest rates of accidents that there are out there. And there are the cars right now equipped with the most of the technology that are most advanced in that sense.
Well, aside from the Waymos of the world, right? Like,
right.
Of cars you can
the ones that you can buy, that you can actually buy.
But one of the points I was making in our discussion from 10 years ago, because I have not re-listened to this episode like you just did, but I remember the conversation, even though it was 10 years ago. No, but one of the points that I have made probably in this episode, but over and over again when we talked about this, is the driver assist is actually more dangerous than actually doing full autonomous driving, because it assumes the driver can take over at a moment's notice.
Well, I mean, that's been my biggest knock on FSD, the way it is right now. It's the reason why, and sometime during the episode, I was talking about technology helping people, stopping them from having accidents, for example, which a lot of the driver aids that many car manufacturers do right now do a lot of that. Like, like like my car, for example, has avoided me, getting into an accident by me changing lanes and not seeing somebody, for example.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
My car has just basic blind spot warnings and stuff, and they've absolutely been helpful. It's gone beep, beep, beep when I'm about to try something stupid.
Right. That kind of stuff, which we've got a lot of that, and it's significantly improved from what we had. But, the FSD technology, and I told the story about this guy was having lunch who was basically being cavalier and falling asleep and doing what the hell we're talking about and doing that whatever. And he totaled the Tesla. The Tesla drove into a wall because he was that cavalier. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, and totaled the car. I mean, this wasn't a small accident. Okay.
This is the thing, and the fully autonomous ones have been slower. And because I had specified it had to be legal to go to sleep. And part of my argument was these cars would not even have the steering wheel. It would just be a passenger compartment. And some of the taxis are, in fact, structured that way. The autonomous taxis that
but they got remote drivers anyways.
The remote drivers have to sometimes take over.
They have a wheel over there. So you took out the wheel from a car, but there's somebody with a fucking wheel sitting in a room somewhere else.
It might be a keyboard or a joystick.
It might be a keyboard or a joystick. Yes, as much as we know. Yes.
And you see videos every once in a while about people like, the Waymo got stuck. The Waymo's confused.
Yes. Yep. You see that. Yeah.
Because, something happens and it just has
something happened that a human could figure out, but the Waymo could not, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yes, I was absolutely wrong. It did not happen within 10 years. You can go to sleep in your autonomous driving vehicle. But if it's a Tesla, you would be incredibly stupid to do so if you're the driver, obviously.
Yeah.
And in a Waymo, you're probably fine going to sleep. But,
Well, there is somebody else minding the fucking store. It's geo-fenced. It's somebody else is minding
it. Now, have they disclosed, is there someone actually monitoring in real time at all points? Or does the Waymo call for help when it feels like it's in trouble?
I thought it was the Waymo call. I thought it was an alert. Okay. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So there's not necessarily someone watching,
But it's doing it again. It's doing it in a very limited geographic area because it's the one that it knows very well. And even back then, 10 years ago,
expanding the geographic area.
Yeah. It's slowly, but even 10 years ago, I still remember seeing BMW demo a car that could go around a track by itself, and a track that it knew very well. It's not like that wasn't possible. I mean, shit. I mean, come on, man. We were in college, and let's face it, Sam. When we were in college was a really, really, really long time ago now. Okay?
Yes, it was. And they already had self-driving.
And they already had that!
I mean, it was slow. Like, I remember going out to see the demos of the big self-driving Humvee that they'd put together or whatever in the park. And it's like maximum speed was like 5 miles per hour or something.
But it did it.
And of course, they improved that rapidly over time. And removed the amount of restrictions on it, etc. I think the first cross-country drive of one of these things was not that long after we were in college.
Yeah.
With the safety driver and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was over-optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
I was indeed.
I love this. Well, actually, I love this more the fact that I found this. I mean, all of a sudden, I'm just looking at my calendar. I'm like, what? Wait, what? This was fuck, and I'm like realizing
A
Jesus,
reminder from yourself from
a decade ago, and then it happens that Apple technology apparently is still I still use it so widely that it was still on the same fucking calendar I put it from 10 years ago. Now that's more amazing, I think, than anything else.
Now I had remembered for a long time. I every once in a while, and certainly every time we've talked about self-driving on this podcast, I've been like, we had that thing that was like for some huge number of years in the future. Has that passed yet? It seems like it should have passed yet, but no, not until just now. And although, like I said, for at least 5 years, I have admitted whenever we've talked about self-driving that I was gonna be wrong about this when the time came. But
oh gosh, but but yeah. So I mean, so wait, yeah, okay. So let me ask you a question. Do you guys have like a home family calendar? Like you use? What do you use for or no?
So here's the thing. I had set up all of that stuff once upon a time. So yes, we each have, like, on our phones, a private calendar and a shared calendar, and we're all subscribed to each other's shared calendars theoretically.
But is that which calendar? I mean, what? I mean, not on. I guess it's not using your Apple calendar.
No,
on the phone?
it was using Apple, but let me get to the part why it's not actually practically in use anymore. Because first of all, like, my main constraints are generally my work calendar.
Right.
And it is possible for me to share my work calendar with my Apple phone. But I stopped years ago having anything work-related on my phone that allowed the company to have, like, management rights on my phone.
Okay.
And so no more work calendar on my personal phone. Okay?
Well,
let me finish. Let me finish this. And then, so I had no more work calendar on my personal phone. Now, I could have done something like just block out big blocks of time where I'm at work. Just like, I'm at work these hours, these days, and boom, that's all. But I never did that. And then when Brandy started her work, she had similar constraints with her work calendars, and she had campaign calendars and work calendars, but they were all on different tech. You couldn't be shared freely, blah blah blah. And so I still potentially, like, in some cases, like, put personal appointments on there, but frankly, none of us look at our Apple accounts enough or use our Apple accounts to make it worth it, because we all have the things that actually matter and block our calendars on other systems, a whole diverse set of systems that aren't brought together because
so basically you really don't. Yeah, so basically you don't have family. I mean, here's the thing that we have about the family calendar.
We just drifted away. Because of all.
I have a family calendar, but the one thing that I do, if there's anything, look, I'm assumed to be at work during the day. Bottom line, it's like, look, just assume I'm at work. However, if there is an event that requires me to block time from work to be at, what we do is send an invite to my work calendar. Okay?
Right.
And so that way, blocks of work time, because I have to be at a doctor or something that I got to be.
What I do.
So that way is what I do. But then they have the family calendar and everything that they see, and Manu lives by the calendar religiously.
Right, okay.
So he is looking at, I put my travel schedules on there, and it's like, synchronized. If it's travel, I have it that I sent an invite to the home calendar, so it's on there, so they know what it is, and that kind of stuff. So that way they will see the events that are relevant, and if they need to block time from me, I basically am like somebody else that is like, you do business at another company, you can't see the calendar. Hey, you send them an invite. So, hey, I'll get an invite. Oh, okay, no, I can't do that time. I'll decline it, or I'll accept it, and I'll be able to block my work time, basically.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you. And, like, when I have appointments for anything, I put them on my work calendar, because that's what I put them directly on my work calendar, because that's what I have to work around for the most part. Right. And even if it's something, like, if I have something Saturday that I have to remember, I will put a reminder on. I will block some time on my calendar for Friday afternoon, saying, "Remember, you have this thing Saturday."
Right. Okay.
You know, because I will look at it while I'm at work, but I'm not looking at any of the personal calendars anymore. I'm only looking at my work calendar, realistically.
All right.
And occasionally, you know, Brandy would get pissed at me, like, "What do you mean you didn't know about this? I put it on the calendar." I'm like, "Well, I don't look at that calendar anymore," you know. And I don't know. So anyway, that's that.
Anyway, all right. So that's my but first. Basically, I figured I could
Excellent. I was gonna bring it up if you didn't right up at the front, but you beat me to it because you wanted to like make fun of me.
Yes,
which is important. You could be damn sure if I'd been right, I would have been making fun of you.
Yes. You know, listen, Sam, for a number of, I mean, it was a long time. I made a prediction about Paul Tsongas being the Democratic candidate who's going to be president, I said, in 1992. Sam took that clip, put it on his answering machine for everybody to listen to when they left him a message saying, "Wrong, sorry, Yvonne, but you were wrong." So yes, I need to be able to take advantage of what I got right now, given that he spent like, it must have been like a year or more that was his answering machine message.
Okay, now Yvonne, you want to go double and nothing for 2035 on the same prediction?
I think 2035 they may have figured it out. Okay? I think another 10 years they may have figured it out. So no, I won't do double. No. I think 2035 they
What if we reverse our predictions then? You can say we will be able to buy a car that you can just go to sleep, and I'll say you won't.
Gosh, but I'm not even that convinced about that one right now. I think it goes back to say during that it goes back to the one problem that I said about with aircraft. One of the ways that they've made it that aircraft can literally like almost fly by themselves is with the adoption of stuff like TCAS, for example, ADS-B, and other technologies that
every
constantly
plane is
share
mandated to be able to communicate with each other so that
and communicate precise data on location, precise data on a lot of information, and they are able to talk to each other, to avoid each other, and so much and so on. And so that's why.
And you don't have the possibility of the kid running across the street chasing their ball.
Exactly, you don't have that. So so the thing is that I think that even like 10 years from now, one of the things that I think would make a big improvement in this is that cars would be able to communicate to each other, kind of like a way to saying that airplanes do in a certain extent, in order to avoid those kinds of things, okay? And that the roads would be smart roads and that kind of stuff. But that requires a massive I think it's over $1 trillion investment in some of that in order to be able to get to the full level that I think they may be able to get a lot closer, but with the other advances, they may be able to get a lot closer, that it doesn't need to be that way. But my whole point is that since all the other cars don't have that, the cars have to keep, even the smart car that can drive by itself or whatever, maybe in a perfect environment, right? You still have all these other morons that there's still hundreds of millions of these other cars that can just dart out of a place, just smash into you senselessly. And so that's the big risk that you have there. And the cars aren't really that well prepared to, if some assholes like swerving coming at, like say for example like a wrong way driver, okay?
Well, to be honest, humans aren't necessarily that well prepared for that scenario either.
But I think I think even the autonomy gets so confused that sometimes it's even worse. I mean, I've avoided a wrong way driver like at least once in my lifetime, okay? And
I've been a wrong way driver at least once in my lifetime.
Oh fuck. Well, all right, and
not very long. I realize.
Okay, and I meant, and I just realized I meant like wrong way driver instead of being on a highway. Okay, all right, where I had a car coming at me at 70 miles an hour, driving the wrong fucking direction on a highway. Okay, or more.
I remember twice once was turning onto a one-way street in Pittsburgh. And
that's always, you know.
And I realized within like a dozen feet and pulled over and figured out how to get out of it. And then the other was accidentally heading on the off-ramp of a highway. And then my family started screaming, "What the hell are you doing, Sam?" And then once again, I figured it out.
You know, I had like our mutual friend who I haven't heard from in forever, so I don't even know if we're friends anymore, Marilyn, that once borrowed my car. And she was lost and was in my car. This was the time that cars had cell phones. Okay, because she didn't personally own one, but my car had a cell phone. And she calls me from the car to try to figure out where the hell she is to make a turn. And I go and I tell her to make a left turn at this place where she told me that she was. But she make a left turn and started going the wrong way. And all of a sudden, I hear her freaking out as she realized that she made the left turn, but didn't get on the right lane. Stayed on the left. Was driving wrong way. She's freaking out on the cell phone. She backs up, trying to make a U-turn hurriedly, and actually crunched the back of my car as I was on the other side of the phone. And as I already talked about a little bit, how I'm a little bit of anal about my cars, I will admit that I did not flip out at her because I realized that would probably make it worse.
Yeah.
I remained calm and I just said, listen, just drive forward. Don't worry about it. And we'll figure it out. Thankfully, it wasn't too much. Okay, it was no big deal. But I know that I felt really like somebody just stabbed me in the heart for a second as I heard this. But I maintained composure and did not make the situation worse. And I did not yell at her about it.
Good job, Yvonne. So sorry, I distracted you from your story.
We're done. We're done with story. We're done with story time.
We're
done with cars.
And we have decided not to set another alarm for 10 years.
No, I'm not setting another alarm. I'm not making another. But maybe no. Okay, wait. No, maybe we'll do a check.
Okay, let's do a check.
Let's do a check.
Okay,
I'll set the appointment again for 10 years so we can check the status of where we're at with it. But no bet. No prediction.
Okay.
I don't feel very confident about my prediction back then. I felt very confident back then. I don't know. Now I'm in the area of I don't know. Instead of like now, no way, never gonna happen. So I'm on the I don't know, like right now. So looking at the calendar. Where the hell is this? Okay, I will make the change now in order for us to. There it is. Autonomous car fully. You can fall asleep. Here we go. Make a change for not October 9th, 2025, but 2035. Okay, here we go. Typing in 2035 onto the calendar. Here we go. Boom, boom. Yep. Here we go. So now it's launched into the future. 10 years from now. Okay.
We will reconvene.
In 10 years.
And somehow we will manage, and I will accept. I just got the meeting request.
You got the invite. There you go.
I got the invite. Let's, I'm going to accept. There we go. Accepted the meeting invite. So,
Excellent.
So see you in 10 years, Yvonne.
See you in 10 years. Again.
Okay. With that out of the way.
You got to cover your movies.
Yeah. Although I don't know if I want to. Yeah. Last week we said we'll do 3. But I don't know if, two's plenty.
All right. Go with 2. Go with 2. All right.
2 is plenty. We've already done half an hour on autonomous cars. Okay. Movie number 1. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which I watched January 2nd of this year. So I'm in the same year again.
Jesus Christ! I mean, when is this movie from? I don't even remember this movie. What's the name of the movie again?
This was a 2023 movie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
How bad I have no. This all the same as all the other fucking Batman movies this Spider-Man reboot 10 times movies. And
here's the thing.
I'll confuse the shit out of me.
So this is the second in the Spider-Verse franchise. The first one was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse from 2018. Okay. And there's a third one coming out, I think, next year.
Okay.
It's due to come out next year, I think. Or maybe it got delayed to 2027. Let me check that. Sequel Beyond the Spider-Verse.
And this one's animated.
Yes, this series is animated.
I had no clue. I mean, I literally just looked at the poster, and it's like, I swear to God. Okay. I mean, this isn't even one that I maybe saw the poster and like knew, but I just saw it, and I was just like shocked at the poster. Like, I have no idea.
So the third one is now due to come out June 2027. So we got a little bit of time yet for that one. So let me. I will just put it this way. I've watched the first two movies. I have really enjoyed both movies.
Okay.
Big thumbs up. These are about the Miles Morales Spider-Man, not the Peter Parker Spider-Man. Just to be clear.
Once again, I didn't even know there was a Miles Morales Spider-Man.
You know,
I mean, I didn't even know that. I don't know anything.
So you should, Yvonne. Miles Morales is Puerto Rican.
It sounded from the name of it.
He's he's an African American Puerto Rican descendant.
So but wait. I was mentioning, okay, that I wound up for some reason running into somebody online who was African American from Georgia that got into my face and insisted that all Puerto Ricans were white and Spanish.
Okay.
Are we all white?
Apparently. Right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So this must be fake.
Anyway, they both got a lot of accolades for having interesting animation style, blending animation styles, etc. The second one really doubled down into the whole idea of the multiverse. Into the Spider-Verse, the first one, in the first movie in the series, introduced it. There was a sort of crossover between the different universes, and so you had some intersection between them. The second movie went completely in there. Like there's this hub between universes where you have Spider-Men from like dozens of different dimensions interacting with each other with different histories, and they have sort of canonical events that happen in the lives of all spider creatures, because some of them there's men, there's women, there's like
there's like a lot of spider creatures.
Yes, from different, and there's some that are like in the first movie and appearing again in the second movie. There's like one version of Spider-Man who's a pig. There's different animation styles, so you see them like interact with each other.
I am so lost. I am so confused.
And
I have no idea about these things.
Anyway, very creative. I really liked it. If I had to pick, maybe the first one's a little bit better than the second one because it doesn't get quite all tied up in the mythos of all of these different like universes interacting with each other, and it's more directly on like you have a small group of characters that you really get to know, and like there's and you meet, it's not just Spider-Man, like one of the female Spider-Men is in some universes she's known as Spider-Woman, but in this was colloquially she's Spider-Gwen. Anyway, I liked both of them. I liked the second one. I say if I had to put them, maybe the first one's a little bit better, but I really like the second one too, and it completely sets up its sequel though. It's one of those situations where I was pissed at the end of the movie because I wanted to go straight to the next one, and it's not going to be out for like 3 years.
For still, you gotta, yeah, still a while, yeah.
Yeah. So, but very creative with the animation styles as well, like and multi animation styles, because like when you get the Spider-Men from different universes, they're animated differently in terms of how they look and feel. Like some are more comic booky, some are more 3D animation, some are more this, some are more that. You get some things where even the frame rate of the animation changes depending on what's going on with the character and stuff like that. So there's a lot of sort of artistry stuff about it, but then it's also just a good story. I will read the beginning of the plots from both of these from Wikipedia. From Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's the first one. Here's the beginning of the Wikipedia plot description. New York City teenager Miles Morales struggles to live up to the expectations of his father, police officer Jefferson Davis, who sees Spider-Man as a menace. Miles's uncle Aaron takes him to an abandoned subway station to paint graffiti as a way to cheer him up. There, Miles is bitten by a radioactive spider and gains abilities similar to Spider-Man, because the original Spider-Man is also in here, the Peter Parker
Right.
Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Returning to the station where he got bit, he discovers a collider built by Kingpin, who hopes to access parallel universes to abduct alternate versions of his late wife Vanessa and son Richard. Spider-Man attempts to stop the collider while fighting Kingpin's enforcers, the Green Goblin and Prowler. I'll read the second paragraph. Green Goblin shoves Spider-Man into the collider, causing an explosion that mortally wounds Spider-Man, who then gives Miles a USB flash drive designed to sabotage the collider, warning that the machine could destroy the city if reactivated. After watching in horror as Kingpin murders Spider-Man, Miles flees. As the city mourns Spider-Man's death, Miles tries to honor his legacy by becoming the new Spider-Man, but inadvertently damages the drive. At Spider-Man's grave, he meets Peter B. Parker, a middle-aged and world-weary Spider-Man from another dimension. Dun, dun, dun. And then the movie proceeds from there. And then across the Spider-Verse, which happens later, on Earth 65, Spider-Woman Gwen Tracy has become increasingly isolated from her friends and estranged from her father, George. George is hunting Spider-Woman for killing Peter Parker, unaware that it was an accident after Peter turned into the Lizard. Gwen encounters a version of the Vulture from an Italian Renaissance-themed alternate universe, and Miguel O'Hara and Jess Drew arrive through dimensional portals to help neutralize him. George corners Gwen, and she reveals her identity to him, and he attempts to arrest her before she leaves with Jess and Miguel. Second paragraph. I'm getting really bad with the pronunciations here. In Brooklyn, on Earth 1610, 16 months after Kingpin's defeat, spoilers for the end of the first movie, and the destruction of the Alchemax Collider, Miles Morales is having trouble with his parents due to his duties as Spider-Man interfering with his personal life, and is grounded when he is late to a party celebrating his father Jeff's promotion to police captain. Miles encounters the Spot, an Alchemax scientist turned supervillain whose body was infused with portals during the Collider's destruction. The Spot blames Miles for causing his mutation and reveals that the radioactive spider that bit Miles and gave him his powers came from an alternate universe, Earth 42, while the Spot was testing the Collider. The Spot accidentally transports himself into a void and learns to use his portals to travel to other universes and empower himself by using Alchemax colliders in other dimensions. Gwen travels to Miles's dimension and they reconnect, sharing their struggles and hinting at feelings of attraction towards each other. Movie continues. Anyway, both good. Like them. I recommend them. Even if you don't like superhero movies, even if you don't really like animations, these are fun little movies. But you will have to wait till 2027 for the third movie in the trilogy.
Well, 2026 is almost around the corner.
Yeah. You got like, what, a year and 3 quarters.
Yeah.
You got a year and 3 quarters.
I'm sure it's going to be a summer release.
Yeah, June 2027.
So thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Yes, and thumbs up for the older one too, which I probably reviewed on here a few years ago.
Okay.
You know, Bridge on the River Kwai can wait.
Okay.
Bridge on the River. I'll never catch up this way, but Bridge on the River Kwai can wait. Well, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about the actual news of this week, as opposed to things from 10 years ago and a movie from last year. So, or 2 years ago. It's 2023 movie.
2023.
So, you know, all these years just sort of merge together over time. You know, our discussion about that 10-year in the future prediction could have been last week. You know?
Yeah.
So it's all it's all blurred together badly. Okay. Here comes a break. We'll be back after this. You're listening to this podcast. Do you like it?
No!
Do you want to support the show?
No!
Well, after you have subscribed to the show, followed us on Facebook, and told all your friends they should be listening to, what else can you do?
I won't subscribe!
You can help fund our Patreon at patreon.com/Curmudgeon's Corner. Patreon is a way you can throw us a few bucks a month to help out with the expenses of the show. You know, web hosting, equipment, a little bit of advertising to promote the show, and maybe every once in a while some much needed sedatives for Yvonne. At different contribution levels, you can get a mention on the show, our Curmudgeon's Corner postcard, or even a Curmudgeon's Corner mug. Fun stuff.
Not fun.
In any case, the contributions help tell us that you enjoy and appreciate the show.
I really hate Curmudgeon's Corner.
Are we worth $1 a month?
No!
$5 a month?
No!
Or if you are nuts about us, maybe even more.
100 billion dollars, even though you don't have anywhere near $1 billion.
If we're worth anything to you at all, send it our way at patreon.com/Curmudgeon's Corner.
Alex hates, really hates Curmudgeon's Corner! That's really mean, isn't it? But I hate Curmudgeon's Corner, but I really do!
Okay.
One thing that I want to mention
was
that in that recording of that Curmudgeon's Corner, and I skipped through it quickly trying to find this section and figured if I did that. But Alex, I heard talking into the microphone.
Oh, yes.
Actually speaking. There, you know, that did happen like 10 years ago.
He used to do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
He did entire shows as my co-host.
Yeah.
Now he would only talk about his YouTube channel and video games.
That's fine.
Else, but you know.
But hey, you know, but yeah. So anyway. All right, so I guess it's my time to pick a topic, and I'm going to pick something that is newsy. But honestly, I'm surprised that it's gotten, and I put this on the Slack because I'm still shocked that it's gotten zero. No, but it's got zero attention, but maybe it's because there's so many scandals and frauds and shit related to Trump that they just, yes, it's about the hotel. It's about the fucking hotel, okay? Because nobody gave a shit about this, okay?
Yeah. You putting it into Slack was literally the only thing I've heard about it. No one else has even talked about it.
You know, everybody remembers that Trump had this hotel during his first term that was basically a walking distance from the White House. And that hotel basically became the hub, the meeting place for all the Republicans that were going to Washington. They were all spending money there. Many foreign governments, would buy rooms. There were stories specifically about certain governments specifically buying blocks of rooms in the hotel, which they didn't even use, just to frickin' just put money into the damn hotel. And the hotel, was very active during that time. Well, soon after Trump lost, back in 2022, Trump sold the hotel for $375 million. Now, the thing about that sale at
Wait, real quick.
Yes.
It was you who bought it, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
I used my petty cash. Using my petty cash, as usual. No. It's a guy called Raul Fuentes, which I think I understood he's of somebody of Jamaican descent. I'm not really sure his background is murky. Very little information about him. He owns something called CGI Merchant Bank that owned a few other hotels and real estate properties. Now, the $375 million, everybody that had looked at this hotel said was a sky-high crazy number. And I mean, even when Trump bought it, and made the lease, they said that they way overpaid. That it was a sky-high crazy price. That there was no way to make money on that property. It didn't have enough rooms, The location, the layout of the building was quite funky because it was the old post office over there. It was a historic building, so there was a lot of things and changes that you couldn't really do to the property. There was a big rent that had to be paid, because it was really
just to throw it out there. Yeah. I remember having a school group tour of that old post office when I was in high school.
Me too. I did that as well. During that time,
it was cool.
It was cool.
Columns and things, and
a big open atrium in the middle. It's a very, very cool building. Listen, the price was sky high. There's no way to make money on this. But the guy that bought it also got but as other deals that Trump has been involved, like him being able to sell a house in Palm Beach that he bought for $20 million, that all of a sudden got flipped for $100 million, that a Russian bought, which was multiple times what anybody would pay. And nobody understands how the hell this deal happened. This deal happened with this hotel where this guy came up $375 million. The guy borrowed $285 million of the money for the purchase. And he didn't even get to a year before he was in default. Yeah, I mean, this guy, he didn't even make it a year. And then he said, well, we got hit with some taxes, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. That's complete, utter bullshit. On a $375 million deal, you're doing your fucking due diligence. You know what the fuck is coming up? There is no way that you got all of a sudden blindsided by some bill like this. It's bullshit. Especially saying it's taxes. It was crazy. So very quickly defaulted on the loan. Donald, apparently, since he got so much money, paid on this. So the price was $375. Apparently agreed to carry $28 million. All right.
Yep.
As that, which by the way, that's in deals like this, that's not unusual to be honest. In some deals where the person made a lot of money and there was a little piece left over. I've done that in some deal where I've got a property that maybe I have a ton of equity on, that the person went and maybe the price was $400,000. Well, they came up to me $370,000, and I figured, you know what? I'll carry a lien for the other $30,000. Whatever. It's not the worst risk. I made a lot of money on it already. I'll carry a note, Well, let it ride. It's part of the profit. I'm just, probably make some more money because I'm getting paid interest. Of course, he defaulted on that too. So the place went into foreclosure very quickly. It wound up being foreclosed already in 2024. And there was a foreclosure auction. In 2024. by the way, in which there was only one bidder. And the winning bid, I remember, paid $375.
Mm-hmm.
Go to foreclosure auction. Only one bidder. The price was $100 million. I mean, it's not. By the way, the hotel business has been booming the last few years. If anybody hasn't noticed, okay, but hotels have been booming. I mean, talk about 375 to only fetch 100 at foreclosure, and and I'm like, I'm sorry, this guy that said that that bought the hotel, I still don't understand how the fuck he got the loan. Who gave him the money? Why would anybody, knowing the hyper-inflated valuation of this, willingly go and loan this much money on this property that they knew was everybody knew was the price was ridiculously sky high. So they wrote that off. But by the way, Donald Trump sued for his $28 million. Okay, by the way, and he won a judgment because of course Trump sued because he always sues. Okay, and he won a judgment for like $30-some-odd billion or whatever, whatnot. The bottom line is that once again, another real estate deal with that Donald is involved, where everything is murky. Pricing that, a deal where he buys it that everybody's saying it's impossible to make money. All of a sudden, he gets bailed out by somebody at a sky-high price, and then all of a sudden, the buyer defaults on it, the source of the money. Who the fuck understands this? I mean, it was a significant amount of money. And if you remember, this happened during a period where Trump was under significant financial pressure.
Yes.
Because of the lawsuits, because of all this shit happening, because of judgments, because of all of this shit, he was under a lot of pressure, okay? And lo and behold, voila! A couple of $100 million came out of the sky.
Right.
It's always...
Ivan, I am sure the authorities are aggressively investigating this as we speak.
Uh-huh, sure. Yeah. Uh-huh. Nobody gives a shit about this.
Right. Yeah.
But nobody gives a shit about this because there's so much other shit going on that this is like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this general problem before, but the speed of events, and this was true in Trump's first term, it's even more so this term. There is so much going on, so constantly, so many new things every single week that people did the comparisons to Watergate, right? We've got like 10 new Watergates every week.
Every week.
Every week. And some of them, much more significant than Watergate ever was.
Yeah.
Some of them about the same. Some of them maybe a little bit less. But like there's stuff every week that is of that scale or bigger. And it's just overwhelming. There's so much of it. Like you mentioned this one, if you put a list of potential Donald Trump scandals of recent times, maybe this is number 30 on the list. Maybe 40.
By the way, another one that came out today with this kind of murky money trail, and I think this also, by the way, I saw this and immediately I was like, this isn't for the reasons I think people think it is. The Dominion voting systems got sold. Okay?
Yes.
And by the way,
to some conservative group.
Yeah, but the only reason this happened is because it was such a source of lawsuits and problems. And they were still suing and set people that how do you eliminate the problem? Buy them. That's it. Done. It's fucking crazy. And I guess the buyer said that they want but the announcement is double better because not only does conservatives buy, but they said that I guess they're ending their technology and they want everybody to go back to paper. Something like that.
If you actually look nationwide at this point, it's in the high 90s in terms of the percentage of people use systems that are paper backed anyway. At this
Oh, they're paperback. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, in terms of having a paper trail that's left and blah 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 blah. And I forget exactly which technologies Dominion was, but yeah, like they're yeah, whatever. I don't think it's. There are many concerns about elections and how elections are going to work and how people are going to want to manipulate them in 2026 and beyond. I think Dominion is also relatively low on that list.
Yeah, I think it was more about the lawsuits. I really do. I really think that was like the main thing. How do I stop the lawsuits? Hey, buy them out. No more lawsuits. There you go. Problem solved. Hey, how did Donald Trump stop, his legal problems? Take over the Justice Department. Problem solved.
Yes.
Hey, it works. It works.
So, with that in mind, do you want to transition from the hotel to any other issues?
Oh, we can transition. As I mentioned, the Justice Department was kind of like giving you the off ramp in that direction.
Well, I figure we will let you control for the rest of this segment. Go a little further, and then we will take a break, and then I will lightning round everything that you have not picked by now.
Well, I mean, this whole thing, like right now with the Justice Department, and we got the Comey indictment, and now we got Letitia James being indicted. Right.
I was in the process of mispronouncing her name when you said it first, because I'm doing so well with that today. But yes,
with a very flimsy, ridiculous. I mean, you're at the fucking act. It's stupidly it's ridiculous.
Another 2-page indictment without that many details. Well,
it is so flimsy, and the accusation, which is just it's the same. It's an accusation that, I mean, nobody gets prosecuted for this. And by the way, let's starting with that. But what they're claiming, which is also facts that are terribly in dispute. The reason why a lot of people don't go into this is because, okay, you look at the paperwork and
describe what they actually said.
That basically it's the same thing they were trying to go after the lady in the Fed, okay, yeah. Which is that in the process of applying for a mortgage, that they supposedly misstated that this house is a primary home and not an investment property, and therefore, by doing that, they got a favorable interest rate.
Just real quick, the Fed one, the accusation is she said it was a primary home when really it was a secondary home. In this case, it's that she said it was a secondary home, but she never actually used it as a secondary home. She just rented it out.
Okay, so yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, okay, so it was a secondary home, but I mean,
and supposedly over the 30-year lifetime of the loan or whatever, this is just under $20,000.
They saved $20,000. They would save $20,000. Which, by the way, the loan doesn't have 20 years, as far as I know. Anyway,
it's not a 30-year. It's like a 10-year.
No. That okay. I mean, this was on 2020, so only like 5 years have elapsed. So that would be over the life of the loan. The remaining fucking 25 years.
Yeah.
So we're talking here is not even that. We're talking about a couple of $1,000 in interest, maybe. And by the way, here's a problem. This whole thing. The problem is that this accusation is supposedly trying to read the person's mind and their intention. Because you know what? It's not illegal to buy a house declaring it as a second home because you think it might be a second home. And then you're changing your mind and deciding to rent it out. That's not illegal. And so unless they tell me that they've got some X-ray vision into her head to determine, that.
I could do the same with my primary home, right? I could decide I don't want to live here anymore. I'm going to rent it.
And the bank is not going to force you to refinance.
Right. So that was actually going to be my question. Assuming that everything outlined is true, is this actually a crime? Like, I know the numbers are small and
is it
selectively enforced.
Is it a crime? Well,
presumably the motivation has something to do with it, right? You have to go in there with the intent of defrauding.
Yes. by the way, even the law says that if it's just an omission, it's okay. So if you made a mistake, if
it's the scenario that you said, she intended
or changed her mind, it's totally legal. This is about as stupid,
This is another scenario, and it's the same.
And by the way, according to what I heard about Letitia James, was apparently that there was some papers that did say that, but apparently that she corrected them, is what I read today.
Well, this just like Comey, and involving the same players. This was another one where the person resigned because he said there was no evidence. And actually, the initial reporting was he resigned because of Letitia James. It only later came out that it was also Comey. He resigned because they were pressuring him to indict in both these cases, and he did his investigation and found no reason to indict.
Exactly.
Like, he found there...
And once again, Lindsay Halligan couldn't find anybody in the office that wanted to sign this indictment either.
Yes.
Because nobody would put their name to this piece of shit. Okay? And she wound up having to do it herself again. At least I will say this. This time it seemed like they learned to use some spell check.
Although, apparently, in the indictment, they misidentify where Letitia James lives.
Oh, of course!
They got the name of the town right, but they said it was in New Jersey.
Of course they did. Of course they, of course they. I mean, this whole document is like the counts. It's four pages. So yeah, 2 pages double sided. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't even get that right in like.
Well, and this brings us back to, like, that these will probably get dismissed. There's a good chance of it, because there's also, by the way, the legal talking heads who've been talking about both these cases. What's her name again? Hennigan, something.
Lindsay Halligan.
Lindsay Halligan.
Another one that, by the way, was picked, but by the way, another one of her qualifications that I saw was that she was in some beauty pageant as well. Again,
of course, but
of course.
But here's the thing: for both of apparently, the way she was put into this position did not follow the rules.
Correct.
She is not legally in this position.
Correct.
So they are likely to move to dismiss for at least 2 different reasons. One is the only person who signed the indictment was not in a legal position to do so.
Right.
And 2, vindictive and selective prosecution, where the primary evidence is a post that Donald Trump made on Truth Social.
Correct.
Specifically saying to go after these 2.
Correct.
And by the way, the third name in that post was Schiff, Senator Schiff from California. So presumably the indictment against him is coming any day now. And will have all of the same flaws.
Yes. They're great.
But here's the thing, and we talked about this when it happened to Comey. I don't know if Donald Trump even cares. Like, even if this gets thrown out, he has made his point. He has indicted his enemies. He has caused them to spend money on legal defense. He has proven that he can direct the Justice Department to indict whoever the hell he wants, regardless of the evidence.
I mean, I mean, it's quite a Pyrrhic victory. Can I be honest? This victory is only for his own personal vindictiveness. That's it.
Yvonne, that's all he cares about. That's his whole life.
What a fucked up way to live a life.
That and making sure the money keeps rolling in.
Yeah. What a fucked up way to live a life.
Oh, and that you can hurt brown people wherever possible.
Well, that's definitely at the top of his list. As I also shared a story on the Slack about how basically, Trump is anybody that's black and anybody that's black, they're like first on the list to get fired.
Surprise.
Is that? I mean, that's not racist, is it?
Oh, of course not.
Nah.
He's judging things purely on their merits.
Purely on their merits, yes.
Purely on their merits. I'm obviously sarcastic here, in case anybody can't tell.
If anybody can't tell, yes, our sarcasm, we're laying it really, 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 really thick. Just make sure, okay? Oh, fuck.
Yes.
Be ditto.
Well, look, and that point being made about like, yeah, he'll indict anybody if you cross him. Has power even if these start getting dismissed because there's not that much to them. Because one of these days he will find one that sticks. He will get the right grand jury. He will get the right judge. He will get the right jury. And
well, one of these days maybe he'll find a criminal if he really looks at it.
And right, yeah, I'm sure he can. There are plenty of criminals around that are also enemies of Donald Trump.
Right. I'm sure that maybe at some point they'll. Right.
Remember what's his name? What's that guy who was defending the porn star and is now in jail?
Oh, Avenatti.
Avenatti. There you go. There's a good.
Well, I figured that he would pardon him. He'd like it after he figured out he was a scammer. He'd probably love him. Fucking give him a pardon.
Yeah. So look, yes, he will undoubtedly find a real criminal at some point as well. In which case, by all means, go after them. But the thing is, even there, the selectivity is the important part of this, because a couple of people have done a quick perusal of mortgage documents for people in Donald Trump's cabinet.
Oh, they all have done the same or worse.
Well, they found at least 3 that have done the same or worst in terms of declaring things as a primary residence where they didn't live and things like that. And are they being gone after? No. Of course not. And we also have the Justice Department deciding not to investigate anyway. The guy, what's his name? Hoden. I'm so bad at names. The guy who took the $50,000 in cash.
Oh, Homan.
Tom Homan. Now, I did see some legal analysis, by the way, that said actually it may have been hard to make that case against him.
Oh, I know. I mean, I read why, especially because he wasn't in the administration at the time.
Yeah, which apparently, by the way, that's a cool loophole. That apparently, with our current laws and the current Supreme Court rulings that they've been made weakening bribery statutes for the last couple decades, it may actually be perfectly legal to, if you have been appointed to a government job, but you are not in that job yet, and he wasn't even appointed yet. He just anticipated that he was going to be.
Right.
Which makes it even further out. But if you were the way it works, by the way, like when president-elects announce their cabinet, they can't actually appoint anybody until they're president, but they announce it between the election and the inauguration so that Congress can get a move on doing their hearings and stuff. But the official nomination can't happen until you're actually president. So in this whole middle zone, where you have a fairly good idea that you're going to be a high government official, but you aren't actually one.
So at that point, you could just open the cash registers and just grab every fucking dime you can.
Absolutely. You can take all the money you want because the bribery statutes only apply to people who are actually in office.
Motherfucking hell.
Even though they have him on camera accepting a
bag full of $50,000 of cash,
which apparently he has not had to give back either. He got to keep that money, even though it was part of a sting operation where the government just handed him the $50,000. And yeah, so but anyways, they were continuing the investigation after Donald Trump took office, presumably to see if you got the other end of the quid pro quo, because then maybe you could still make some sort of case that even though he got the money before, he did the action after, and maybe you could still make that case. Maybe you could do something if he didn't declare it properly on his taxes.
Right.
Although someone
Well,
was,
that's my question is, did he really file the 50? That would be the one where he could get caught.
Well, but
if he didn't declare it.
Also, I heard a couple of legal experts where they were asking the question, okay, from a legal tax point of view, is the bribe income considered income at the time you receive it, or only once you do the action that you were being paid for?
No, it's at the time you receive it. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Because apparently this is uncharted legal territory, because there's certain things where you can defer the income if it was paid for a specific act. And it's
yes, if for some reason it required you to follow through. So basically, It's kind of like in a contract where if you give money and you're supposed to deliver on something, but you didn't deliver on it, then it's not considered. But here's the thing, if he had to give it back. But here's the thing, he hasn't given the money back. So unless there was a contract signed that said, hey, the money needs to be refundable or something, hey, this is only if you pull through. But that's it. It's one of these things about contracts, whether something is refundable or not refundable.
It doesn't matter in the end because they dropped the investigation. So even if he didn't declare it on his taxes, or he declared it in the wrong year,
they're not going to investigate him.
Nobody's looking. Because, and basically, also just to put a even bigger point on it, they shut down the public corruption office at the DOJ.
Completely? There's nobody?
I think if they didn't shut it down completely, they reduced it by like 90% in terms of the staffing or something. Like, they basically outright declared, this is not something that we're going to spend any time on. So if you want to be corrupt in your public office, go for it.
Listen, they said that they weren't going to investigate like companies like us, multinationals, where I work at, for FCPA violations. Mm-hmm. I mean, I heard a discussion, some people talking about this, not at my company, but people talking about, well, what the fuck? I mean, let's just go bribe people. What the hell? Get business. I mean, what the hell? Nobody's going to do anything. Now, the one problem with this, by the way, is that
you're gambling that they won't change their minds or apply it selectively.
Or you're also gambling. I mean, I don't think these guys stay in power, because statute of limitations of that isn't that short,
right?
So if the next administration says, well, we're going back, and investigating this shit that wasn't investigated, then you're fucked. So that's a big gamble.
Well, and that applies to a few other things where Donald Trump has basically said, we're not going to enforce the law on XYZ.
Right.
Yeah, the next administration could change their mind. But I think it's an even bigger risk that this administration could change their mind at any random moment.
That's true.
Because the law is the law, and they could change their mind selectively. Oh, yeah. You pissed us off? Okay, we will enforce it against you.
Well, you. Right.
That's the whole point of this. And, one of the things that I think we have to look, it's just the reality now, is that the DOJ is now the enforcement arm for Donald
J. Trump. Yeah.
It has nothing to do with what the law actually says is legal or illegal. It is about, are you a target? Did you piss him off? And he will, if he likes you, he will wave them away from whatever bad thing you are doing. And if he doesn't like you, he will sick them after you for anything they can find, real or imagined. And if they find something real, you're screwed, because they'll be able to actually convict you on it. if they can't find anything real, well, they'll still indict you, and they'll
Right.
still make they'll
They'll make your life miserable anyway.
They will make your life miserable, and if you don't have deep pockets, they'll bankrupt you trying to defend yourself.
Yep.
You know.
Wow. Such cheerful.
Okay. Shall we take another break and then lightning round through the rest of
let's break it up. Yes.
Okay. Here comes a breaky break. Enjoy.
Breaky.
AlexandZilla.com. Bang Alex and Dad. Gaming, videos, and more from Alex. Elementary school by day. YouTube by night. AlexandZilla.com. Alexandzilla is ALEXMXELA, and .com is period and then COM.
Okay, let's lightning round this other stuff. Let me start off with just I've had this iPhone 17 Pro Max for a few weeks now.
Oh.
And I will just say, like, compared to the 12 I had, lots of upgrades, lots of advantages, blah, blah, blah. But by far the biggest one, the battery life on this thing is like, compared to my degraded 5-year-old battery that I know I could have replaced. They have programs to do that, but I hadn't. This thing, like, I am ending the day. Like, I'm looking at this thing right now. And admittedly, it charges while I'm driving back and forth from work as well. But we're near the end of the day. I'm at 73%.
Nice.
Now on a weekend where I'm heavily using it the whole time and I'm not like doing non-phone stuff at work and stuff, I can be down. I've hit 20% a couple times. Like when I was off in Toronto last week, and I was doing stuff and whatever, I did get down to 20% a couple times, but it lasts a long time.
Well, good.
And I enjoy that, and I plug it in at night, get to 100%, blah, blah, blah. But, I'm coming from a world where I carried around a spare battery with me because I'd always be low by the end of the day, or I would make sure to plug in every time I could,
I just today I had a couple of days ago my wife's best friend in Colombia, she had bought an iPhone 13 that she had sent me money to go get her at the Apple Store a few years back, whenever that phone was out. Unfortunately, she was out and about with her baby in a stroller, and she had put the phone like in her purse. Somebody went and swiped it from her purse, stole the phone. Okay, just a couple of days ago. Good, and it was an iPhone 13, not a Pro. Now, my wife, I'd gotten her an iPhone 16 last year, and you know me, I keep the phones in good shape. I had her old iPhone 13 Pro, which I always keep like one of those phones as a spare to give away. Okay, I've given away a whole bunch of these phones like that. And what told me, well, swipe the phone, and I'm like, look, now with the exchange rates and shit, to get a new phone in Colombia, the price is in local purchasing power, it's quite onerous. Okay, so I was like, she had some issues with, she's not with the dad of the baby, and the guy is not paying his child support and shit. So all of a sudden she swiped out of her phone, so whatever, and I was like, look. I checked the phone and I realized the battery life was low. So, but I went, I did the appointment yesterday. I went my lunch. I went and I made an appointment at the Apple Store like at 12:20. I drove over there to the mall. I dropped off the phone real quick. I went and had lunch. And by the time I got back from lunch, they had put a brand new battery on it for $99, and I shipped it off to Colombia now so they can get a new phone. So that the battery swap, I'll tell you what, 99. Listen, we did it, $99.
Yeah.
All right, and I did it during my lunch. It's not like it took me out of the day, whatever. I just went over there, dropped it off, said, hey, No problem. Come back in an hour.
I mean,
Here we go.
In my case, if the battery had gotten really bad like a year and a half ago, I probably would have bothered with that. But it didn't start getting really bad until I knew I was only a few months away from replacing it. So I didn't bother. But this reminds me, I know we're lightning around through other things, but I have one more phone-related story.
Ah, more phones.
This is my wife's phone. While I was in Toronto, I had finished doing stuff with my sister, her husband, and baby, and I was back at the Airbnb. And I was actually getting ready to edit last week's podcast.
Uh-huh.
When I get a text from a friend of my wife.
Oh, boy.
Hi, Sam. So-and-so here. Brandy wants me to let you know that she has misplaced her phone.
Huh?
We are having dinner with blah, 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 somebody else. She will do another sweep of the places she has been, and if she can't find it, she will stop at the Apple store on the way home. Okay. So, obviously, first thought is, I misplaced my phone.
Find.
So, my immediate response is, I had already noticed that I had not gotten... I had checked Find My a couple times for her, and the last location was 2 hours old. So I'm like, okay, she let her battery die or whatever. Okay. But of course, her first thought, I misplaced my phone. I'll buy a new one.
Right.
That's the immediate first thought.
Makes sense.
Okay. But I did. The last known location was where she was. She borrows her friend's phone and is talking to me. She's like, I had turned it off while I was at this event. She was at like a memorial service or something. So she turned it off. And she's like, I went to put my coat in the car and then went back in. I don't remember using it since then. I'll check the car a third time. And I'm like, did you turn it off because the battery was low, or you didn't want to interrupt the service? Because, you could just turn it on silent.
That's what I was saying, silent. Yeah.
Whatever. She's like, I didn't find it inside. No one cleaning up has seen it. She's like, I had a piece of cake and I had that balanced on top of my phone. And then a guy came by collecting trash. And I think there's a chance I put it in the trash with my plate.
You guys are... I will say that the one thing about the you guys is that you guys are really... How do I say? It's you guys are in sync in doing this kind of buffoonery. Yes.
And I'm like, that was before the thing with the coat. I haven't looked. It hasn't had a location in the last 2 hours. Did you search the trash? And then I'm like, I'm going to go tell Find My to make it beep, even though it hasn't had a location in like 2 hours.
Right. I think that, because it's supposed to be able to, if it's still got battery and you lost it, even if you're trying to turn it off.
My assumption was that it hadn't located in 2 hours because the battery was dead, because she lets her battery die all the time too.
Okay.
And she says, I couldn't find it in the trash bag, but there are about a dozen in the dumpster that she couldn't reach. So she was searching the trash for the phone. Okay.
Oh, man.
And then I made it beep, and I'm like, it says it's playing the sound and has battery. Okay. So then she's like, okay, but I'm in the restaurant with the people I was with. So I'll let you know when I'm back out. Can you add a lost phone note? And I said, yes, I'll add the lost phone note. But I'm like, but it's locating in the parking lot. So it's either in the car, find it,
or on the floor under the car,
or it's on the ground. And I'm like, if it's on the ground, you should step out of the restaurant.
Yeah, I get it. Right.
Before someone runs over it or steals it or whatever. Okay. And she replied to that, and I had said that I'd put the lost phone notice on it, and she says, "Okay, text if you get a response." Now I thought, when she said okay, she was saying okay till she'll run out to the parking lot. So I immediately say, okay, I will beep it over and over again for 5 minutes. Now, actually, she was saying okay to thank you for putting the lost notice on it. She was not leaving the dinner she was at. So I sit there beeping it for 5 minutes. She's not even out. At the end of it, I'm like, okay, I've beeped it for 5 minutes. Should I do it again? And she's like, no, I'm not out of the parking lot. I'll tell you what I am. I'm like, aren't you at all urgent about this? I recognize you're at a restaurant, but just step out for a minute.
Apparently the answer is no at this point. Okay.
And the restaurant was like right across the street from the parking lot. It wasn't like it was a half mile away that they'd walk to or something. Anyway, when she finally got out, she said she'd looked at the car twice already. She was going to go look again. And when she gets out, she'll let me know when she's at the car. She gets back out to the car. And anyway, she says, we're now looking for it. I start to make the thing beep again. And then she sends me a picture. The phone was on top of the car the whole time. She'd looked in the car. She had not looked on top.
On top of the car.
And she texted me, I would never have looked there. Never. Never in a million years. I would not have looked there. I would have driven away to go buy my new phone with the phone on top.
So I got the story of the guy over here who's my boss's boss, who one time he had this Audi, he had a little Audi TT with Bluetooth, on it, and I don't know where he stopped, but he somehow absentmindedly put the phone on top of his car.
Yeah.
And then he got in the car and left. And then all of a sudden, on the display on the screen, Bluetooth link disconnected.
Right.
And he's like, Bluetooth link disconnected. It's like, why the hell would the Bluetooth link be disconnected? I'm like, then he realizes, oh shit. I left it. I put it on the top of the car. He turned around, went back.
Well,
he found the phone. However, it would work over Bluetooth.
Well, if longtime listeners will remember, Alex had an iPad that I left on top of the car, and I was driving him somewhere, and I saw it fly off the roof of the car behind me on the road. But where I was, I couldn't pull over immediately. It took me 5 minutes to find a place to turn around, get back there, run and walk. And I found it had been run over like a dozen times by other cars by the time I found it. But it still turned on. And we were able to back it up.
There you go.
And then Alex ended up really upset because I did while he was at school, go get it replaced at the Apple store under Apple Care. And he wished we'd kept the broken one. But, oh well.
No.
Right?
Right call. You did the right call.
Yeah.
Otherwise, his fingers may have been quite a lot of shards.
He's indicating that I've got part of the story wrong. Oh, well. Yes. He's indicating that there was a major problem, that there was one game. They have since fixed this, I think. But at the time, Terraria kept its save files local only unless you explicitly uploaded them. They were not included in the backups for the device because they didn't consider the game file save files important enough, and they didn't bother backing them up. And so to this day, he's upset that we lost those game save files. Anyway, sorry.
All right.
Continuing with the lightning round.
Continuing with the lightning round. What's next?
Sora 2 came out this week.
Ah, yes.
Which is an AI video clip generation thing. And there have been a number of different versions of this. But Sora 2, once again, significantly upped the level of realism. They also offered an ability where you can quickly scan your own face and include yourself in the movies that you generate as a character. And you can choose to let other people use your face in their movies as well. So there are apparently 3 options. Only I can use it, only me and my friends can use it, or anybody can use it. They also, I forget if they explicitly did it or whether people just figured out how to do it, but historical figures and copyrighted characters all over the place. they actually had to back off and decide and say we're going to enforce against the copyrighted characters. I think they've still got some issues with the historical. Like there were a ton of videos going on about like Mr. Rogers in action movie scenes. Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers being the new Liam Neeson.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There was one that was like a buddy cop film with Mr. Rogers and Bob Ross, the painter guy. Where Bob Ross was telling Mr. Rogers, some people are not your friends. And then they pull out their guns, you know. You know, there were like lots of ones with like the Martin Luther King doing, you know, I have a dream that someday there won't be a line at Chick-fil-A. You know, all kinds of other stuff. Some of which were actually kind of cute, some of which were disturbing. There were you know, various tech journalists like iJustine put hers out there for anybody to use, and of course there are lots of really creative things that they made iJustine do, and there were some also rather tasteless things they made iJustine do in some of these movies.
Yeah, I know.
And the point of this though
is
these are video, and they are voice, they do the whole thing. They hold on. I lost sound. Hold on. I'm just gonna switch headphones. Hold on. No, don't do that. Oh. You already stole my other headphones. Hold on, I may need to take those back if I don't get this on in a second. Try to reconnect. No. Okay, sorry. I need the headphones, Alex. Give. Sorry. You have your own pair. I bought like 3 of these because I gave them to you. There we go. Okay. I presume you could hear me the whole time. You just couldn't hear me. Okay.
Yes.
I just couldn't hear you. Okay. So, while for the whole point is, this is yet another level of realism. If you look carefully, you can of course tell these are AI, and of course the elephant jumping out of an airplane effect is still in play, where if you see something that is just clearly unreasonable, you should be suspicious. But these are now at the point where you have to pay attention to know they're not real.
This is one, but I'll tell you this. I think like short little like things or whatever, but I've started noticing that as the more I see these, the more quickly I realize they're fake.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing though. I already I see so many things shared on Facebook of people thinking that these things clearly have been fooled by them.
Okay, we do have. Okay, look, let's be clear. I don't know why I have to reiterate this, but if anything that has shown us over the last decade is indicative of the level of intelligence of the average person on the internet, it is basically like that of a pea. Okay, you know, I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, not like, I'm sorry, they all believe that what we've got 9/11 was fake, that Sandy Hook was fake, that I mean, I don't know. You want me to go through the list? Well, of course they believe this immediately without thinking 1 second.
And look, again, the biggest thing is still like, use a little bit of common sense in terms of like, okay, did Martin Luther King really endorse Chick-fil-A while he was giving his speech, his famous "I Have a Dream" speech?
I mean, I don't understand.
You know, but
I don't understand. I think that was his concerns were civil rights and chicken.
yes. But the other thing is, look, there are other things you can tell. Like if you look carefully at the background, things usually look a little weird. You know, and if you pay close attention, and especially if you zoom in, there's still all kinds of artifacts you can pay attention to. But the other thing is, these are just so quick and easy to make. Sora, apparently, I did download it. You have to have an invite still, though. I don't have an invite. If anybody has an invite to Sora, feel free to send it to me. But it's like they built it as a mini social media app, apparently. So the feed there is just all of this AI generated slop that people are sharing with each other, and they are making it elsewhere. Like I have, like the percentage of this stuff that I see as I scroll through social media of all types is increasing rapidly. But especially with the Sora movie clip things, and they're only a few seconds long, which is another tell, right? Like the AI still can't sustain like a 3-minute clip of this stuff. They're usually
it's
5
so
to 10
much
seconds,
so
right?
processing intensive, like right now.
Right.
So yeah.
And also people pointed out they're probably still losing tons of money on this. It's like $5
Sure.
per clip, and people are making like thousands of these things. But you know, it's just the percentage of my feeds that are this stuff is increasing dramatically. And look, I'll be honest, some of it's amusing, some of it's funny.
I know some of it is
cute.
funny. Yeah. It is. And by the way, it's good and it's getting better. And I, you know, look, my whole take on this, and a whole bunch of people talking about the AI bubble and a whole bunch of stuff or whatever. And I'm like, look, as one that has now, as we have been deploying AI at our company, and they have done a lot of work and doing some good stuff for our use, and I have been using it. I have found that my productivity with this shit is so much higher using this stuff that I am like, when people are talking about the hype, I'm like, you know, these people sound like the right now, like the people that said that computers were a fad and the personal computers were a fad in the 1990s.
Right.
I mean, look, my whole thing, you know, I've said a lot of criticisms about it has been about application and use, how certain people go
Using
out
it
there,
for the right thing, and understanding the limitations,
and understanding what you know, and being able to check, because a lot of stuff that I generate, I have to check and make sure that it's correct, and making sure that I'm using it for the right stuff, okay, that I know it's trained on, and not using it for other stuff that, you know, for example, like we've shown math. Fucking man, the AI is really math deficient, like right now.
I shared on the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack right before we started recording a screenshot that somebody apparently took of the new integration with Copilot into Excel, where they had just 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 3 cells, and in the cell below, they said, you know, formula equals Copilot, sum the numbers above. And it said 15 for 1 + 2 + 3.
Makes sense.
So, and
sounds good.
The person who posted this, of course, do I know if this is real, or was this a fake Excel screenshot? I don't know, but they commented, this will crash the global economy. Like,
well, we keep talking about,
Excel
is
used in so many places, you know,
but they have actually, Microsoft has said that using Copilot in Excel, that the accuracy is actually quite low. They actually said this.
Yes.
Okay? You know, so my thing is that I'm like, look, if I'm somebody that's using Excel, when you tell me, well, will we only be at about 50% accuracy? I'm doing Excel. Listen, 50% accuracy in Excel is not acceptable. Okay? I mean, hell, you know, I'm sorry, but I said, like, for a driving car, whatever, you were talking about how much,
right.
my criteria for how accurate I want my Excel versus even my car driving is higher. For Excel, I demand a lot more. I'm doing fucking financial calculations that sometimes are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of fucking dollars. You know, I'm sorry. I cannot have such a wide margin of error.
You know, it tried. Isn't that good enough?
Nope. Not for Excel.
But anyway, like
now for dumb video clips, you know, showing like me flying like a, you know, like a bird, sure. Or I did these pictures of me using AI to try to show me driving an F1 car. I looked as the fattest F1 driver in history. Okay, I don't know why the AI decided to make me even fatter than I am. Also, it attached a rear view mirror on my arm for whatever reason.
Where else would you keep your?
I mean, yeah, but you know, other than that, it looked so. But for funny effect, it was good.
Well, but the thing is, I think we are definitely in the zone where there's so many people uncritically accepting this stuff or just don't know to even think about it.
Well, the tariffs.
The danger is increasing dramatically as this stuff improves.
But I think that's what's going to separate people in terms. You know, they're talking about people now that are AI proficient, right? Mm-hmm. In order to do their jobs. I think, once again, that's going to be what separates people that know what the fuck they're doing, or people that wind up bankrupting their company because they use the wrong fucking model to calculate, say, a car loan, for example, that basically all of a sudden winds up losing money on every damn car deal going out.
Well, but I'm talking more tying it back to the political stuff, right? You know?
Oh, well, but fuck, look, but come on. We've been living with this. Listen. Did we really need
I'm just saying it's getting worse. Not that it hasn't existed for a long time.
It's not, well, it's, I mean, I don't know how much worse it is. Because, look, we already had armies of people generating junk, fake content constantly, pumped out every day with armies of, like, you know, using robotic, you know, RPA processes and bots and programs, just, you know, creating all these fucking bots all over the place, just pushing out this shit all the fucking time. So I don't know. I mean, now the one thing is
that whole Cracker Barrel thing from a few weeks ago. Turns out,
right, which was totally fake. I mean, exactly, it was totally, you know, fake. Yes. I mean,
well, it was fake until it was real, because the fake activity.
Well, the fake activity got people actually riled up for real. Yes.
Yes. Which is the point of it, which is why they do it. And all I'm saying is the amount of cost and effort to do that is plummeting. You know? So
I don't know about, I don't know. Listen. Right now, it's really not plummeting. Because the compute capacity is still relatively inexpensive.
But the thing is, these companies are giving it away for free, even if they're paying.
Well, so like look, again, this goes back to what the fuck happened 20 years ago. Let me tell you something, okay? This free shit is going to end pretty quickly. I got to tell you this right now, because this is the fucking thing I talked about the internet, whatever, 30 years ago. I can say, oh, no, but it's all free. Let me tell you something. This free shit's going to end pretty fucking soon. Because somebody's got to pay the bills. So somebody's going to have to fucking pay for it. There's got to be a way to make fucking money.
The pattern that has happened, industry after industry after industry, that we've talked about before on this show, is that the first wave who's jumping into this is not typically the one who actually ends up getting the money. Like, a lot of the first wave ends up failing.
It depends. Well, it depends.
Now, look at survivors from the first wave.
But look at this. Look at streaming. Okay, for example, look at streaming. Right? You know, because everybody thought it was free. You could watch all these programs. Blah 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 blah. Reality is that the first one that really jumped into this was Netflix. You know.
Well, they weren't the first, but yes. They were the first to make it popular.
They were yes, but that's what I'm saying. They're the first one that really people used, okay, as a service. And, I mean, you know, they were a pioneer in it, and the way that they marketed, the way that had the programs, hell, man, I mean, and look where they are. I mean, it's still, you know, and at first it was super cheap. Now we're talking about how everybody's having to pay for everything, you know. I think we've had a lot of... I think, like everything, of course, you know, Yeah, some of the people right now, early, maybe later, are not going to be doing as well at whatnot. But my whole thing is that at some point, listen, somebody's going to have to make fucking money on this.
Well, yeah,
Shit.
no, absolutely. My point was just the people who end up making the most money and may like transform the world
May not be the right.
may not exist yet. It may be the second round of companies after the first round makes all the mistakes.
But one thing is that right now
and builds out the infrastructure
but
that the other ones can
look,
build.
the adoption rate right now of this across the board is so high that people listen. People are addicted to this shit. Okay, they're gonna spend money. Because you want to take it away? They're addicted. Listen, like I said the other day, I read
several AI. I am paying Anthropic. I am paying OpenAI right now. I'm paying whoever owns Cursor. I'm already paying several of these companies to use their products.
Look, like there was a guy, I can't remember why the hell he blurted this out to me like a few months ago that I said this, that all of a sudden just walked up to me and said, I don't know how I can't write, how anybody writes an email anymore without using AI.
Right.
Just blurted it out. That's the kind of dependence that we're talking about, okay?
Oh, yeah. And that's what they're counting on, right? You know,
right.
You give it away for free, you get people addicted, and then you ramp up the price. Yeah, it's
yes.
the typical, I mean, this has been a pattern in many industries over the years.
Yeah,
it's a well-known technique.
And it was so different.
Anyway, I'm just saying, trouble. Lots of trouble ahead.
Fucking come on! Listen, we have trouble. We got to.
We've always got trouble. We've got trouble in River City.
Fucking, we got a 4-alarm fire going off every day right now, for God's sakes, and people are like right now so numb that they're like, what? Trump? What? Trump? Did he what? He's going to Walter Reed.
Yeah, let's do that. That's on the list too. I had a couple down, but let's jump to Walter Reed.
I don't know.
Having an annual checkup for the second time in 6 months.
So, I'm sure that's not that. I'm sure it's fine. Yeah. Nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry.
He loves doctors. He just likes going to Walter Reed. It's just a fun little trip over there, you know.
It's where my dad was born.
No shit.
My dad was born at Walter Reed.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
There you go.
I not know that. But it's a fun tidbit. Look, we were talking about this. Something's wrong. I mean, his health is deteriorating. Seriously. I mean, yes. I don't know. And I mean, I don't know if we're talking about 90 to 30, 90 to 80, 90, what exactly the degree is. But look, there is something wrong. It's getting worse. He has been masking this stuff. He had been disappearing. All of a sudden, exactly as you said, a second annual physical within 6 months. Something's wrong. Okay? And I hope it whatever it is, it moves faster.
Yes, you're eager to hurry up on to JD Vance.
I mean, I'd rather. I got to be honest. I like my chances against JD Vance a lot more than you know. I'm perfectly fine trying to take on the couch fucker. I think he is a much easier target.
Right. Anyway, yeah, he's going to Walter Reed. We'll see. We won't see because they won't tell. They will announce that he is once again the fittest male specimen that has ever been seen.
Ever been seen. More virile, more potent than ever.
Exactly. That's Donald for you. Anyway, yeah. So he's going to Walter Reed. Okay, but while he is at Walter Reed, he's undoubtedly actually. If I remember right, the Nobel Peace Prize winner will be announced probably before we get this show out. It's due to be announced within the next 24 hours, and it's got to be Donald Trump because of the new Gaza peace deal, right?
Right. Of course, he's going to win. Apparently, that's not the case. Apparently, they already know that he's not going to win, and the Norwegians are kind of like gearing up for Trump's tantrum over the fact that he didn't get his little prize.
Now, having said that, though, as we record this, it does look like at least the first stage of this thing in Gaza is going to happen.
Right,
maybe,
but that's
sorta.
where we're at. We're at the first fucking stage. And by the way, I don't give a shit even if this thing works. He allowed the complete destruction of Gaza under his watch, okay? He stood not in the way of them. So now all of a sudden,
Ivan,
I've
you gotta
got...
stop. That
it was Biden.
That
it was Biden.
was Biden's fault.
It was Biden,
It was
yeah,
all Biden's
yeah. He did nothing, right. And, Mr. I'm just shooting people at sea because, I'm good at doesn't get a fucking peace prize for nothing. Stupid piece of shit.
Yeah, what do you think of the thing in Gaza, though? Like, so the initial deal that looks like it may be happening is...
I'm not holding my breath that this will last too long.
Yeah, my thought is I'm honestly surprised it's gotten as far as it has.
So have I.
But it looks fairly possible, and you guys listening will know better than we do as we're recording on Thursday night U.S. time. But it looks fairly possible that the last 20 or so remaining hostages that are still alive may be handed back to Israel this weekend. And Israel has agreed to withdraw from the major cities, not withdraw from Gaza, but withdraw from the major cities in Gaza and stop the bombing of Gaza as part of this phase 1 part of the deal. They had their vote of their cabinet,
and then they approved the deal,
and they approved it. Which some people were wondering if there might be hardliners that held out, but they didn't. So it looks like at least this first stage is happening. The remaining stages are tougher because they involve things like who will run Gaza afterwards. Does Hamas get any representation whatsoever? Israelis say no. Hamas says yes. How exactly will disarmament work? How far will the Israelis withdraw? Will the Palestinian Authority be involved in any way? Will there be peacekeepers from other countries? There are all kinds of open issues that like.
So yeah, I know this is like very early. So who the hell knows? Okay.
So
yeah. Like as usual.
I feel like again, I'm surprised they got as far as they did. I will be pleasantly surprised if they get through this weekend and actually do the things they say this will happen this weekend. But I will be utterly shocked still if these later phases actually happen where the harder questions have been pushed off towards. So we shall see. Okay.
All right. I'll bring up another thing.
Okay, bring up another thing. And then we only got like a couple more and then we'll wrap.
Yeah. By the way, we just set $20 billion on fire.
Yes.
This bailout that we did of Argentina, I'm speechless right now at what the fuck we did. We went and we basically we took $20 billion US from our treasury, and I've never heard this being done like in this fashion, and just bought $20 billion of Argentine pesos. Now, any of you that you've heard me talk about the Argentine peso in this program, okay, it is one of the most devalued currencies that it is basically loses the values faster than anything. Okay, look, the last time I was doing shipments out of Argentina, when I was like doing mostly importing into Argentina, the exchange rate was something like about 50-60 to 1. That was 5 years ago. Right now is 1,500. That's in 5 years. Okay? The Argentine peso does not hold value. We just literally just set $20 billion US dollars on fire.
Well, but again, are you properly taking into account the corruption?
Am I properly taking it into account?
Because now isn't a significant portion of this the reason for potentially doing this that a bunch of Donald Trump's friends
Yep.
have investments in Argentina.
Yes, they are okay.
Up.
So here is this has to do with the fact that a whole bunch of Scott Bessent's friends, more directly, okay, had bought up a whole bunch of distressed Argentine bonds, and they had been looking to get paid. And this is one, and the bonds had dropped in value substantially. And one way to prop up the value of those bonds is by basically giving $20 billion to the Argentine treasury so they can have the money.
There you go. So you're not setting it on fire. You are indirectly giving it to your friends.
Okay. That's one other way to look at it, yes.
Oh, and
not my friends!
Well, not your friends, but I guarantee the administration is not looking at this in terms of how will my investment in the pesos do.
By the way, this thing about bondholders going and like pushing action on distressed bonds, so the administration does something that is favorable to them. Isn't just there. They're doing the same thing in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, he fired the Fiscal Control Board, which, by the way, they actually sued and a number of them got their seats back. But the main reason he did that is because there's a whole bunch of other bondholders that are chummy with the administration that own, electric authority bonds. And those bonds were going to get a massive haircut, and with this, they're hoping that they get a lot more of their money, that they're able to claim a lot more money than they were before. So it's just the fucking corruption from these guys is just incredible. And by the way, we gave them $20 billion to Argentina that right now is like open the spigot. In terms of soybean exports, right now, they actually did something which I actually agree they should have done a long time ago, which was hindering exports, which was they had an export tax in Argentina for a long time, like 35%, if I remember correctly. And so they were taxing exporters. And so a lot of the exporters were pissed off because, hey, we're trying to sell our stuff. We're bringing in the hard currency and you're making us pay 35%. What the fuck? Well, they lifted that tax. Well, guess what? Makes their soybeans a lot more favorable. They're selling them to China. And what's happening with U.S. soybeans, Sam? Are we selling a lot of soybeans to China now?
No. I was going to.
As a matter of fact, it's not just zero. Actually, the amount right now is zero.
Yes.
Zero.
And how do the soybean farmers feel about this?
Oh, they're feeling awesome. They're great. Many of them have said that if they don't get any money by the end of the year, they're going to be bankrupt. That they need a bailout. So we're going to bail them out.
But Ivan,
so we bailed out the Argentines with $20 billion, and now we're going to give another $15 billion.
Well, yeah,
we're basically paying everybody not to do business with the United States.
I heard Donald Trump specifically say that he would solve this farmer issue by looking for the money on the tariff shelf.
So basically, we're turning us into a tariff profit machine, but actually stopping shit that makes jobs. Correct?
I don't see why you. What's wrong with that, Ivan?
Makes sense. Okay. I don't know.
Anyway, okay. 2 more things, and then we stop. Number 1, how's the government shutdown going?
Still shut down.
Still shut down. There are some weird things happening, like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that she agrees with the Democrats on what they want to do with the health insurance stuff.
Yeah.
So
no, by the way, but again, it goes back to when do these people change their minds? When
it hurts them or their direct friends or family.
Bam! So 2 relatives of MTG went to her and said, what the fuck are you doing? You guys quadrupling my insurance premiums. I just got my renewal and it's going through the roof.
Yes.
And then she goes and says, well, our leadership didn't say any of this to us. We just thought there were Democratic talking points.
Yes, exactly.
Like I said, you're worried about the AI? We don't need the AI to make these people believe bullshit. We're capable of perfectly generating it without AI on a daily basis. Have you seen the GOP? Seriously, these guys cannot. But man, there is a lie generating machine. Yeah, these guys cannot. I mean, the nonsense. I mean, you what? And by the way, I said this before.
I shared a video on the Slack that's related to this as well of AOC. That I only saw it this week, but I think it was recorded a couple months ago.
It was a bit ago.
They were doing the Big Beautiful Bill stuff. And basically she said she pulled aside one of her Republican colleagues on the floor of the House, away from cameras, whatever, and said, look, you're in a rural district.
You're getting killed.
This thing is going to shut down rural hospitals. This is going to hurt your district really badly. How can you possibly be for this? And the person, and she didn't identify who it was or whether they were male or female, but the person says, we don't believe you. When you say things like this, you can say these Democratic talking points all you want.
Right.
We don't believe you. You are lying. This will not happen. And, and AOC is like, but look, we've got all of this information. We've got this thing and this analysis and this analysis.
You're fact averse.
And they're like, well, they're lying too. And
everybody's lying.
Everybody's lying. And so
except the people that they hear. Okay. And this is the thing that I mentioned this a couple of times and I realized that, look, Rush Limbaugh patented this. Okay. He was really the pioneer at this. Okay. And everybody in the GOP basically now with Trump, they are all completely on this. Okay. Look, Rush Limbaugh got on the radio and basically every day for hours just lied. Lied, one day after another. And I mentioned, I listened to hours of him. It was just infuriating. I kept thinking,
occasionally too, yeah.
And I kept listening, and I'm like, it was infuriating. I'm like, how the fuck do you people understand that every fucking thing he's saying is one lie after another lie after another lie after another lie after another lie? And here's a reality, Sam. Most of the people they just believe it.
Yep.
And I don't need a fucking AI machine to make up the lies because these motherfuckers, all of them in the administration, just get up there and just lie nonstop. And their constituents are like, yeah. No, that's just a Democratic talking point. I believe her. Tylenol now and, wait, the circumcisions. Autism. Yes. Circumcisions.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Speaking of those kinds of lies, I will transition to my last one of this, which is the massive war zone that is Portland.
Oh my God. It's awful, Sam. It's really just...
It's burning to the ground.
It's burning.
Everyone's in danger. It is a hell zone. And you can tell this by the people in the inflated animal costumes singing and dancing and, making rude gestures at the ICE officers.
Perfect.
And the people doing the cha-cha slide and all of this stuff. It's just, and actually we've had a couple legal rulings now. The most recent one was actually about Chicago in Illinois, where the judge specifically said, I'm sorry, there is no insurrection here.
Right.
And the government was basically trying to say in their case that the courts can't override the president's judgment on that. If the president says there's an insurrection,
that's bullshit.
There's an insurrection.
It's fucking bullshit.
And the judge is like, no, that's not happening. It just plain is not. The thing that you're describing as the justification for your actions is not happening. Now, who knows what'll happen when that gets to SCOTUS? But, for the moment anyway, the courts are basically saying, yeah, actually reality does matter. And, it is not, a hellscape war
Whatever
zone
the
insurrection when you've got the goddamn inflatable frog, making fun of the ICE officers. And then, of course, they pepper spray the frog. And
of course.
they in fact, they pepper sprayed the vent into the frog costume so that, it would have the maximum effect on the person inside. Yeah. It's ridiculous. You see these videos. Jon Stewart did a good compilation of it. If you look on the Daily Show's YouTube and stuff, you'll find it. But, all kinds of scenes from Portland. And the one thing that has got me more than everything else, they do have, older people singing songs. They have people dancing. But the repeated theme over and over and over again are these stupid inflatable animal costumes.
I love it. It's fantastic.
The frog, dinosaurs, unicorns, whatever.
Barney.
People have pointed out, Barney, there you go. I have not seen a Barney yet, but I'm sure it's coming soon. But thing that people have pointed out is, and this relates back to what we said during the damn campaign about how mocking them works better than portraying them as dangerous. They are dangerous, but
you need to mock them. Yes.
Mocking them pierces that better than anything else.
Yes.
Both to them themselves, they don't like being mocked, and to their supporters. And so these people in Portland who are going around in the animal costumes are doing this perfectly, because it highlights just how ridiculous the over-the-top violence that these people are engaging in is compared to what's actually the reality on the ground.
By the way, if a story today also said, who is Antifa's leader? Kristi Noem claims the arrest of the founder's girlfriend could unravel the movement, Sam. They're taking the girlfriend's boss.
I saw someone say, oh, I didn't know Eleanor Roosevelt was still alive.
Yes.
Of course, implying FDR as the founder of Antifa, is anti-fascist from World War II.
War II, right. Anyway,
and we had we had some other guy, Trump had this anti-Antifa, whatever, conference thing at the White House, and one of the people there said Antifa is real and has been ever since, and they pointed out anti-fascists in World War II as their example of being the bad guys who'd started this movement.
Right.
And it's they're not even pretending anymore.
No.
They're like, of course we're fascists. Thank you. And if you're anti-fascist, that's bad. Sorry.
Anyway. All right,
we're done. Right? We're done?
Yeah, we're done.
Done now?
Yep.
Okay. Everybody, go to curmudgeons-corner.com. Look at our website. Find our archives. You can check out that episode if you want. Again, that is from October 9th, 2015. You can go to the 2015 section of the archive and scroll down. I did have some weird experiences playing it. I could play it just fine on my iPhone, but I had some problems on my computer. I don't know why. I'll have to check into that later. But it's there. It works. I don't know. Maybe it'll work for you. Maybe it won't. Let me know. If it doesn't work for you, give me some specifications. It'll help me debug it. But apparently it worked for Yvonne, right? You played it off your computer.
Yes, I played it no problem. Yes.
So Yvonne played it no problem. So maybe it's just me. But anyway, the Check Us in 2025 episode from October 9th, 2015. Go check that out. You can check out our other old episodes. It's back in the area where I have a little red note saying that the show descriptions are all messed up back then. Right. I hadn't made it back. Every once in a while, I'll fix a month of the old show descriptions, but we got a long archive here. We've been going since 2007. So sorry about that. Anyway, I've only fixed back through 2017 at the moment. August 2017. Anyway, you can find all the ways to contact us as well. You can find transcripts of recent shows. And and of course, you can find a link to our Patreon, where you can give Yvonne and I money at different levels. We will mention you on the show. We will ring a bell. We will send you a postcard. We will send you a mug, all that kind of stuff at $2 a month or more. Or if you just ask, we will invite you to the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack, where Yvonne and I and a whole bunch of our listeners are chatting throughout the week about various things and having just tons of fun. So Yvonne, one thing from the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack this week that will be so exciting, people will want to sign up and join the Slack. Or if they're already on the Slack, just come there more often.
There was a Threads where they apparently Donald was announcing a new line of Trump watches. Okay.
Yes.
There is new designs and
there used to be Trump watches earlier, right? So this is a new.
Yeah, this is a new watches.
New and better Trump watches.
New and watches. These are you've got the president of the United States. Join President Trump's watch community. Be a part of history. I mean, there was this movie like years ago. There was oh god, what the heck? Jack Lemmon is president, and he was president also with oh my god, this other My Fellow Americans.
My Fellow Americans. Okay,
My Fellow 1996 comedy about movies where he was an ex-president along with Dan Aykroyd was the current president at the time. And James Garner was another ex-president. And the thing is that Jack Lemmon, as a former president, was like hawking. He was out to make money. He was hawking every fucking product possible, like as president. I mean, he had this entire lineup of shit that he was just peddling. Okay, as a former president, and honestly, this looks just like the parody they were making in that movie of ex-presidents making money. It's exactly what the fuck we're making fun of back then in that movie. Okay? I mean, this guy is in the White House and he is out there filming commercials for these cheap, shitty watches, okay, there that are another one of his fucking scams.
Right, and like he can't get enough scams too. I mean, we mentioned he's making millions off the hotel. He's making billions off like crypto scam bullshit. He's making like huge amounts on all these guys, but he has to sell the watches too.
And the watches.
And it's got to be it's one of these licensing deals, right? Where
sure, yeah. I'm sure he's making them pay up front like everything. He doesn't want any. They're like, hey, you write my check, 100 million over here, 50 million, 30 million, 20 million. Just you write the check first, and I'll do the commercial.
Exactly. It's exactly what you want your president doing, right?
Yes. Well, in the White House, of course.
Wait. Is there a corresponding exemption from the tariffs for importing those watches?
You know what? I'm going to guess that if you go through the tariff exemptions, I would bet my bottom dollar that is there. Yes.
Because they're not made in the U.S.
Come on. Give me a break. What are you talking about, man? I'm sure it's the purest and finest watch being able to be made in China. Absolutely.
There you go. Okay, we're done. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for yet another Curmudgeon's Corner. Assuming nothing unexpected happens, we will be back next week.
Hopefully a meteor doesn't hit us this week or anything of the sort.
No meteor? Well, there's that Three-Eye Atlas thing, which is clearly an alien spaceship that's coming to rendezvous and,
I mean, right now, is
whatever,
it them or I'll turn? I mean, if I could turn, I mean, they'll take over from Trump. Okay, all right, sure.
By the way, for those who aren't in touch, this is another online conspiracy theory that's been spreading, is that this comet, it is an interstellar comet, not comment. It is an interstellar object, the third ever identified that's coming through the solar system. All the reputable scientists, of course, are looking at all the. It's a natural object. There's no evidence that it's actually not a natural object. It all makes sense. You have reasonable explanations for everything it's doing, but there's a huge group online who are trying to say, no, of course it's a spaceship. Of course it's an alien probe. It's going to do all these things are going to happen, and it's a big conspiracy, whatever. Yes. Okay. We are done. We will see you later. We will have one of the aliens on next week.
Oh,
right.
Lovely.
From the alien probe. Once it gets done doing experiments on us.
I don't want any probes.
No probes?
No probes.
Okay. Bye for real. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, here comes the stop button. See you later, Vaughn.
All right.